What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we have a review for season 1, episode 9 for the Proud Family Louder and Prouder. We're getting very close to the end of season 1, guys, and we're going to be jumping right into season 2, where all the crazy wokeness really starts to take off. But so far, this particular season hasn't been that bad. On average, it's been average, right? Like, it's been kind of like up, kind of down, but for the most part, it kind of hovers at about a 5 overall. Some episodes were really good, some episodes were really trash, but if you average it out, it's about right in the middle. So I think it's not that bad. Now we're gonna jump right into season 1, episode 9. But before we do, guys, of course, I'm only gonna ask you of 2 things at the beginning of this episode. If you guys can give me a like, I would greatly appreciate it. It does push it out into the YouTube algorithm better when you do so. And not only that, consider giving me a long view duration, because when you watch the video, the longer you watch it for, the better the video will actually do, and it will push it out to more and more people, so we can continue growing the channel as we have been since we just recently passed 15,000 subscribers, guys. We're going quickly to 20 grand. It's pretty crazy. So with that being said, let's get into the review for season 1, episode 9 of the Proud Family. Now, this particular episode has to do a lot with La Cienega. So this is basically her dedicated episode, I guess you can say, because it has to do with her family, the family that you see all the time, her father Felix, but it also has to do with family you haven't met yet before, at least not in this season. You've met them in the previous Proud Family, I believe, but you didn't meet them yet in this particular season or this particular reboot. So now that they finally show up, they're going to talk about them. So La Cienega is getting her quinceañera ready, and she's having a big quinceañera where she's going to have all her friends obviously dress up. If you guys know what a quinceañera is, it's basically a coming of age for women in Hispanic communities. So she's going to have that, and she wants all her friends to dress up very well. But the funny thing is, again, the messaging kind of starts off very plain here. So when she's talking to her friends, look what Maya decides to put on the screen. Check it out.
Really not gonna like mine, La Cienega. Maya, that's terrible. You look like you're going to a BLT protest.
So not only does she have a magazine that's Woke Weekly, because, again, they want these kids who watch these TV shows to know about wokeness, right? They want them to be like that. If you look at the background of Maya's house, you see all these like motivational kind of like posters in the background, and I know that's like the BLM fist on the top right that's kind of cut off. I don't know if you can see that. I'm almost positive that's a BLM fist. But the funny thing is, even La Cienega is like, you look like you're going to a BLT protest, which she meant to say BLM, obviously. So the show is like very self-aware. They know what they're trying to push onto young kids, and they have no issues doing that. They have zero issues trying to turn these young kids into activists. And I'm starting to realize that the activism messaging is definitely ramping up towards the end of this season, which wouldn't surprise me that season 2 really starts to take it full on through. You know what I mean? So we're going to find out as we watch the episodes further on. But yeah, that is Maya's idea of how to look when it comes to the quinceañera for La Cienega. But yeah, of course, La Cienega is not going to want to do that. And then this ends up happening. Check it out.
Girl, no. It wasn't funny.
So she tells her friends that her cousin is coming over, and they play a video that they had of her cousin when she was obviously overweight, and she just sounds terrible. But her cousin is going to come over and join the quinceañera, and La Cienega does not want that to happen, but she really doesn't have a choice. And when she goes downstairs, her cousin's at the door and looks nothing like she used to look. So the cousin has been completely transformed, super skinny. She cannot understand how she managed to lose so much weight. La Cienega is completely dumbfounded by how her cousin looks, and obviously she's going to view it as competition. I think this is going to be a great face for a thumbnail, so don't be surprised if I use this face for the thumbnail. And then the intro rolls, and then we're going to skip this, and we have La Cienega's mom and her cousin kind of like greeting and talking to each other again. And then this is her cousin's, mother, which looks very similar to La Cienega's mom because they're sisters, right? So that's to be expected. We fast forward, they're just doing a simple meet and greet. They're all kind of getting back and understanding everybody and whatnot. And La Cienega is forced to take her cousin to go get their hair done because they're getting the hair done for the quinceañera. So they're getting that all situated and ready to go. She didn't want to bring her, but obviously she was forced to bring her, and she feels some sort of way. And then they cannot believe that that is her cousin because their friends, you got to remember, their friends last saw her when she was fat, and now that she's super skinny and hot looking and everything like that, now they just like, who is this person? Check it out.
That's my cousin, La Brea. La Brea. What?
So they cannot believe that La Brea actually looks like this, and they're saying that she had a massive glow up. And La Cienega feels a sort of way because she feels like La Brea is taking away all the attention away from La Cienega when it should be focused on her and her quinceañera. That should be the focus right now, which I understand. Obviously, you know, a girl is looking forward to a quinceañera. That's her coming of age. She should be able to feel special and feel like all the eyes are on her. But unfortunately for her, that's not the case. So Sugar Mama ends up showing up and says that they need to stop lollygagging and get into the salon and get busy. And when they go into the salon, Sugar Mama greets the stylist, who she's known forever, and that's how she was able to get everybody squeezed in, even though these three girls have been waiting here for 6 hours apparently, and they're super pissed because they have to keep waiting. And this one on the left ends up saying something. Check it out.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's the hairstyle that La Cienega wants for the quinceañera, and obviously everybody's just not into that. They don't want to rock that. But at the end of the day, it is La Cienega's quinceañera. She gets to say what she wants to happen. But of course, La Brea, she wants to kind of one up La Cienega, and you'll start to see that they have this kind of relationship where La Brea definitely wants to one up La Cienega every time she gets, because she's jealous of La Cienega. She's always been jealous. She's always felt some sort of way. And La Cienega will not do the hairstyle that La Brea recommends. And she starts asking, when are they going to get done? And then the girls say that they're not going to wait. This girl on the left says she's not going to wait, and that the other girls have to come back tomorrow. And that's basically that. So now we get a showcase where everybody's preparing for the quinceañera. You have Papi, who's going to be the DJ, although I believe he ends up getting replaced at the end, unbeknownst to him. You got Felix wondering how the bill is so damn long and how this is costing so much money. You got Proud Snack setting up his own stand at the quinceañera, and you got everybody talking and trying to see what they can do to kind of help. The sisters do not get along, and then the sister ends up saying this. Check it out.
It's not playing pretend in our backyard.
Mira, hipócrita, dos caras, te voy a dar un...
Take it easy, sunset.
Mateo and I, this, Mateo and I, that, they're divorced.
So they end up having a big fight, and it's because the moms are in competition with each other, right? So there's no surprise that the daughters are also in competition with each other. I'm sure the mom has influence on her own daughter regarding La Cienega, and that's why they end up feeling a certain way. Now, the mom ends up trying to flirt with Oscar, ironically, which right in front of Trudy, you see Trudy's face in the background. She is not having that. Ends up running and pulling Oscar away by his ear because, again, she's doing it purposefully. They all are. All these girls are acting so damn catty purposefully against each other. And then you see Felix trying to calm down his wife again. Check it out.
What are you doing? This is just her 15th birthday party. That's all.
That's what you said about her christening, her confirmation, her elementary school graduation?
So Felix is just not understanding of what's going on. La Cienega and the crew are trying to practice for a dance at the quinceañera, and they just are not. They're not getting it. They're not getting the dance at all. And she, La Brea, ends up putting on a crazy dance that gets all their attention. Check it out. Can't play too much more about that because of music and copyright, but you guys get the point. La Cienega is like, what the hell is going on? How is she so good at everything? And then no matter what, they're going to do the dance that she wants because it's her quinceañera, not La Brea. Then the girls end up having a sleepover where they're playing like this kind of big size Jenga, and La Brea ends up making Dijonay drop La Cienega, which pisses off La Cienega, and she ends up telling everybody to go to bed, but they don't want to go to bed, and after a certain point, they just get so pissed that they start walking out on La Cienega, and they all go home. Penny tries to get La Cienega to talk to her. She doesn't want to talk to her, and her and Dijonay end up leaving together because they just can't get through to her. Then now we have the quinceañera. The quinceañera is actually here now, and the girls come out. They're all dressed up. Everybody is made ready, and it's all good. They get their pictures taken by KG, and then Felix can't understand how the pictures cost so much money. We have the two gay fathers being served food over here in the corner because they're kind of like chaperoning a little bit. Because they, one of them is a cop. Oscar is trying to fight with this gentleman. I forgot his name, but they're trying to fight over the food because one is fancy food and the other one is obviously Oscar's Proud Snacks and stuff like that. And then we have more competition between all the girls. Check it out.
Hey, that's what you said an hour ago.
What, do you think I'm lying? Is that what it is?
No. I'm just concerned.
Okay, well, you need to be concerned about these proud snacks. I mean, they're disgusting.
So she ends up roasting Oscar's Proud Snacks, and not only that, she is lying about the fact that their parents are going to come to the quinceañera because she's not telling her the truth. Obviously, the parents are not going to come because they were told not to come by one of the sisters. So Pappy ends up realizing he's been replaced by another DJ, so him and Felix end up crying together on the floor. And then you see La Cienega and La Brea, where La Brea gives her a gift, and the gift is a frog that ends up making him her freak out. And then when all the kids go on stage to do their dance and introduce La Cienega, she's nowhere to be found. Check it out.
Make some noise for the La Cienega Boulevardes!
So all that's left is her shoes, and they're kind of like, not on fire, but kind of smoking, and the cops end up coming up, and they say that this is now officially a crime scene. KG ends up catching La Cienega on a rocket getting flown out of the place, which is crazy, and shows Penny the video. So Penny tries to go to Trudy to tell her what's going on, but they're not trying to listen to her. So she ends up telling the other kids that they need to get together and go get La Cienega, because KG was able to track La Cienega to her exact location. So they end up getting on a couple of scooters, and they ride off, and they find out that La Cienega is actually at the Snackland, the old place that belonged to Oscar Proud before, I assume, it got shut down. And she's hanging by Sugar Mama's dentures at the top. So that's where the rocket ended up taking her. Not by choice, but that's where she ended up landing. La Brea ends up trying to pretend to be concerned, but then you come to find out that she was the one that actually launched La Cienega on the rocket. Because, again, she's very jealous of her. She tell her whole story about how she always has to be in competition with her because of her mother, and her mother tells her that that's what's supposed to happen. Check it out.
Tell him to cut your hair. Trust me. No, I don't trust you. You're the reason I'm up here. I know. And now I'm going to be the reason you get down.
So everybody finds out that she's the reason that La Cienega's up there, and you kind of see a little bit of the past where La Brea always felt like she was being secondhand to La Cienega. So in return, she would always pick on La Cienega and be mean to her to try to, kind of just one-up her, sort of a thing. And that she's actually wearing a bodysuit that's making her look skinny, that she's actually not that skinny. So the whole thing has been a freaking lie, the entire thing. The story about her mother having money is a lie. Her being married is a lie. The whole thing is a lie. Like her mother's lying to kind of put this image in front of her own sister, and La Brea is also lying to put this image in front of La Cienega. So everybody's freaking lying at this point. La Cienega ends up floating on down, cutting her hair off, and floats down, and nothing happens to her. She's perfectly fine. And the cops end up finding her and asking how did the kids find her first, and they said through the power of friendship, some Yu-Gi-Oh shit. So it's pretty funny. And then this happens. Check it out.
I stood too close to a firecracker, and the next thing I knew, I was hanging from Sugar Mama's dentures. But La Brea talked me down. Right, La Brea? Oh, yeah.
So La Cienega ends up lying for La Brea because they wanna kind of reconcile. They want to be friends, and that ends up making the entire family kind of reconcile and be friends again. So they have this big dance scene. Pappy is being a DJ again because he kicked out the other DJ and made Sugar Mama kind of lock him up because, Sugar Mama's going to do anything for Pappy. And this is kind of a scene out of like Saw, in my opinion, because, he's kind of has his ankle chained to some sort of like ball weights or something like that. And she does the whole close the door thing. It's very reminiscent of Saw. If you guys agree with that reference, you can leave a comment down below, but I'm pretty sure that's the reference here. So the sisters end up kind of, making up. She ends up admitting to her that everything has been a lie, and they end up realizing that they should be friends. And then they do the whole introduction of La Cienega, but La Cienega sticks out and tells Pappy to also introduce La Brea to this as well. So they do their whole introduction, and both girls come out. Check it out. So La Brea is obviously massive compared to how she was before. There was no bodysuit that was ever going to do that, so I think that's kind of BS. But still, I mean, it's a show. Listen, it's a cartoon. You can't expect any sort of realism. So La Cienega gets a special day, and then that's basically it. Everything ends. All the families are kind of rekindled. Everybody's happy, except for Felix, who realizes that the bill is absolutely insane. But as long as he made his daughter happy and his wife happy, that's all that matters. So, and that's it for the episode, guys. This episode was pretty straightforward. Honestly, there wasn't anything too crazy. The only crazy thing in this episode, in my opinion, was the beginning, where you have Maya showcasing her woke magazine, and not only that, the mention of a BLM protest, because they want these kids to be involved in that stuff. That's just the truth of it. They want these kids to be looking for this stuff when they get older. So they've mentioned it multiple times in multiple episodes of season 1 of the Proud Family, and I know it only gets worse from here in season 2. But overall, this particular episode was not that bad, and I think the final score I'm going to give for it is going to be a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think 7.5 out of 10 is a fair score for this. It would have been a little bit more if it wasn't for that absolutely terrible wokeness in the beginning. But aside from that, the episode was pretty solid. The messaging about the quinceañera was pretty solid, and I thoroughly actually enjoyed some of the segments that were happening, and I thought it was pretty funny on some small parts. So overall, season 1, I'm telling you, up, down, up, down. It's a hit or miss depending on who's writing the particular episode, and I wish it was a little more consistent, but there are also episodes that are really terrible, and I've given them 3, 4s, you know, and there's some episodes that are like 7, 7.5s, even an 8 I gave on some of the episodes. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.